Good evening, friends, followers, channel members. Oh, welcome back to the channel. After an Easter break, we've still got the Easter livery just for one final flight. We normally have it out for a couple of weeks either side of Easter, so this will be the last time we have our beautiful Easter EasyJet SimPilot livery out this year. Thanks again to Christian for designing that. If you haven't seen it yet, it really is a marvel to behold. Hopefully the lighting is just good enough for you to be able to see that. So we are in Copenhagen this evening. We're traveling from Copenhagen to, wait for it, Gatwick, of course. We all know my history with Gatwick, and if you don't know my history with Gatwick, well, we normally have PC performance issues, normally resulting in a crash to desktop. That is with the basic freeware Gatwick as well. This time we're going to be flying into the inner builds Gatwick. So let's see how that holds out with some busy VATSIM traffic. I think we've got ATC online here in Copenhagen at the moment as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we get on. So welcome on board, everybody. So great to see you back after well, we had 9 days away. Do you think I can still remember what to do? So good evening, Anthony, Alan, Christian, Danny, Ace, Carlos, Terry, Egg Andy, Doc Fury. Good evening to you all. Dr. Magic, Lawrence DK, Chalty. Good evening, mate. How you doing? Tom. Good to see you. I'm doing well, thank you. Let's get on board, shall we? Just noticed that my my McDo has not connected, so let's just go and try and give it a bit of a kick. Is that on the fly pad? No. Which is it? The sim options? Could be the sim options. So let's just off and auto again, see if that works. Ah, there we go. David, hello from Leeds, how you doing? So we're on live time, we're on live weather as always. The operational flight plan is pinned in the chat if you're watching on YouTube. Let's quickly go ahead and grab some ATIS. Have we got any ATIS? I thought we had. Is this page no longer working? That's interesting. It may just still be in the middle of downloading. Looking at that, we do definitely have some ATIS. So 12275. There it is. Just took a moment. Let's have a listen.
This is Castrop Airport departure and arrival information Delta. Met report 1850. Expect ILS approach. Visual approach on request. Arrival runway 22 left after landing. Vacate runway. Departure runway 22 right. Transition level 60. Automatic weather report. Wind 180 degrees 3 knots. Visibility more than 10 kilometers. Sky condition. Broken unavailable 6,100 feet. Broken unavailable 8,800 feet. Temperature 9. Dew point 4 QNH 1013. No SIGIS unable to follow. Sit advice on initial contact. Squawk Mo Charlie on pushback. This was Castrop Airport departure and arrival in.
Okay, so we're in information Delta. QNH is 1013. Leonard, this is indeed the experimental branch. Right. Operational flight plan. Let's have a look. Look how light we are. We've got only just over 11.5 tons of passengers. Clearly, not that many people want to head back to Gatwick this evening. Fuel just over 5 tons. We're going to get the APU started in a moment, but let's work out how much fuel we're going to take. Just over 5 tons. And what was that shear rate? Was there anything to concern us? No, not tonight. Flight level is 380, 0 fuel rate 54.1, and a tailwind of 12, helping us along our way tonight. Let me go through and check what our current weather is there. Gatwick looks great. The alternate Luton looks great as well. Bit of a crosswind coming up towards 10 knots. Let's check out what the forecast is doing at Gatwick this evening. So 050 at 11. Visibility is fine. No reasons that should concern us getting in. Slight probability of a shower of rain and gusts up to 25 knots, but that's not a true crosswind. So yeah. No real reason why we shouldn't get in. Obviously Gatwick is usually busy, so always worth taking a little bit of extra fuel. Let's quickly go through and check any segment charts. Oh, that weather looks nice and clear as well en route as well, doesn't it? Wonderful. So Diffuse few passengers due to them being scared of a crash to desktop. You're probably right. Oh, now, did I update the air cycle? Guess we'll find out together, won't we? Fuel. Right. 5.5 tons. I should be fine. So, let's tell the ground crew. Get that loaded in real time. Take a couple of minutes. Alright, let's get that APU started. Aircraft's in a turnaround state, so everything is turned off and where it should be. We have just quickly checked that, but I will go through. That QNH is 1013. Switching panel, audio control panel, etc. Flaps, spoilers, cockpit doors open, and parking brake is on. Squawking 2000 on the standby. Acupressure in the green, etc. Initial climb out today, I think, is going to be flight level 70 if we're on the SID that we've planned. We'll just pop the constraints on as well. Okay, lovely. Currently refueling. So APU. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Flight Spotter TV, you came here from the Hiham scenery ad and saw that we're streaming the 320. Oh, well, great to have you on board, Flight Spotter. Hope you want to go to Gatwick, because that's where we're heading this evening. Von McLean, you've been a member for 9 months. Hello, thank you so much for your support during that time. Really do appreciate that. So APU's up and running. We just need to go ahead and grab the information in from SimBrief. Flight time tonight is about an hour and a half. 1 hour 31 to be exact. We'll add the aircraft weight, passenger weight to the aircraft. 112 passengers. There you go. See, told you wasn't very many today. So we've got 3 nav green, aircraft status, LEAP engines. Oh, we do have a valid air cycle as well. That is great. Let's do an init request then. And the alternate tonight is it Luton, I think? Did I have Luton in there? Yeah, that would make sense. Big EasyJet base, of course. Yeah, so Luton is our alternate. Echo Golf Golf Whiskey. Look at the call sign. That's nice. Easy 48 Delta Papa. I like call signs like that. Cost index of 8. Flight level 380 minus 51. The temperature. Tropo is 3... Do you know what? That's pretty darn close. Happy to leave that. Is that APU up and running now? Just double check. Yeah, okay, so let's get APU bleed on. Give that a minute or so. Let's go ahead and pop in the flight route. So we are going to be departing runway 22 right. On the Lango 1 Charlie. There it is. And we will be just checking for discontinuities there. None. So the arrival, we're expecting ILS 08 right, and that is on the Tebra 2 Golf arrival. Now, does that bring us in via Willow or is it Timber? I can't remember, so let's have a quick check. Tebra brings us in at Timber. Yeah. Lovely. So, flight plans 578 miles. We've got 583 shown in the flight plan. Good evening, Christopher. Hope you're well. Danny says, good luck, Gavin, with the flight this evening. Hope everything goes well. You know Gatwick isn't my friend. Yes. Right, let me go through and check the departure to see if that all matches up. So our departure is straight out, and then either at Rubat or 1500, whichever is later. We then turn to Tobis Lango. Nice. And there's no speed restrictions. Initial climb out, flight level 70. Okay, happy with that. On the RadNav page then we'll pop in Castrop, which is Kilo Alpha Sierra. Apologies if I'm missing any questions in the chat, just whilst we're setting this up, of course. Plenty of time to chat en route if I miss any questions. Right, let's start getting the passenger loaded, and then we'll get the init B page sorted. Do we have a jet? No, we don't have jetways. These are the remote stands, aren't they, for the low-cost airlines? So, self-loading cargo. Let's fire you up. And tell the cabin crew they can start boarding.
Cabin crew, refueling is underway and the bags start to get loaded, so let's open the doors and allow our passengers on board. Thank you. No problem.
Right. Von, there's no pre-departure brief for this video, I am afraid. I haven't had time to do one, sadly. Right, let's get the door open, and the passengers are now boarding. Just check that. Cargo door, cabin door, and the front cabin door is open. Wonderful, they're coming on. So let's get the init B page filled out. So our zero fuel weight is 54.1. Pop in the standard CRG for now. We've got a trip wind, tailwind 12. Fuel planning 4.3. We're taking 5.5 tons. Let's just double check that. 5.5 tons of fuel on board. Really need that APU to start burning fuel. At the moment it's running on air. Takeoff weight is 59.4. Fuel for the alternate won't be very much if it's Luton. Alternate is, we'll call that 1.2 tons. That gives us an extra 9 minutes of flight time. That's fine. Right. Let's have a look at the performance page. Bring SimSmart up.
Is the
22 right, and let's see. Just check, where are we going to be going from? We're probably going to be going from the runway head, to be honest with you here. Can't see any reason why we shouldn't. So we can use the full length departure information. So full length departure, grab the METAR 1901. Dry, anti-ice. Sounds like that Speedbird is having issues in his flight deck.
Fever 632 is pushing back from stand Bravo 4.
I'm just going to switch frequencies for a moment. Right, what was that? Takeoff weight? It's going to be dry, anti-ice off. Takeoff weight is 59. Call it 59.5. Takeoff CFG is forward. Flex config 1. Packs off. And calculate. There we go. Let's get all that information into V1 141, VR 141, V2 142. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. Thrust reduction acceleration is 1014. Ooh, an aircraft just shut their engines off in my left ear. It sounds like I've gone deaf. Engine out acceleration is also 1014 as well. That's flaps 1. And the flex is 69. Nice long runway, so V speeds are quite high, close together. Nice high flex. And it's a standard engine out procedure. Lovely. Christopher says, SimSmart got a shout out by Chew on Twitch yesterday. Oh, that's great to hear. I know Chew has had it for a couple of weeks now since its release. So great to see that that those guys are using it. Let's move that out of the way, and then I think we're about ready to do our pre-departure brief. That's the weather here in Copenhagen, and as you can see, few clouds, very, very light winds this evening. 2 nice long runways. Getting back in here is not going to be an issue. Weather-wise, we've got... we're also taking off below the maximum landing weight, so another reason to confirm no problems getting back in should we have a problem and need to return to our airport. We're not going to be overweight or anything daft like that. The aircraft is fully operational and serviceable. However, we do have in-op terrain radar, and we have in-op weather radar. Hopefully 2 things that shouldn't cause us too much of an issue, particularly the terrain radar. We're quite happy here in Copenhagen and in London. Not too much terrain to concern us with. No NOTAMs that are going to concern us in the sim this evening. Threats to be aware of. Well, I've just had 9 days off, so that is indeed a threat in itself. Need you guys to be on your game this evening. Check it out for all the things that I may miss. We have minimum safe altitude 1,600 feet for our departure. Not, as I said a little bit a moment ago, no real problems with our terrain on departure. We just need to be careful to make sure on our taxi instructions. Copenhagen, it's not a bad airport at all. As long as we follow the taxiway charts, we shouldn't have an issue. In fact, we should be able to. Now, where's the... which is the chart icon? No, that's the checklist. Is that the chart? No, that's emergencies. Don't want that. We should be able to. Echo Kilo Charlie Hotel. On the... Is it the approach chart or is it the airport chart? One of these normally has... There you go. There's us. So... That's quite handy if you want to use that to help you follow yourself around. Captain UK on Twitch, thank you so much for the follow. So we can have that up. That will help us. So let's talk about our departure brief. We are currently at stand Fox 4. We're going to push back on. Going to push back Fox 4 onto Whiskey. We'll expect that either Sierra or Romeo. Is that? That looks a bit easier to see, doesn't it? Just a little bit bright. So Whiskey and then on to Romeo. Could be Sierra. And then take us down potentially either Bravo or Delta, crossing Zulu and runway 30. That then will lead us on to our departure runway of 22, either via Bravo or Delta, and we expect either Echo 1 or Alpha 1 as our holding for departure. Departure, as you saw a few moments ago, Lango 1 Charlie, no speed restrictions, flight level 70, straight out to Lango, no turns before 1,500 feet. Runway centerline, straight out departure, should be nice and straightforward, shouldn't it? Right, happy with all of that. Let's contact ATC and see if they're happy with all of that, shall we? Kate Zora on Twitch, good evening to you. Now, one other thing that is always worth doing is just checking on this chart. Departure frequency 12498. We've not got that online, and it doesn't say contact. Yeah, have to take off, remain on tower frequency. Oh, and then contact Castrop Departure. Well, is Castrop Departure online? I don't think they are. I think they're one and the same tonight. So it's going to be the same frequency. 121375. Let's go ahead and tune that in now. 12137.
Control, good evening. EZ875 at Copenhagen.
I recognise that voice.
Fox 5 West IFR clearance to Gatwick, A320 Neo information Delta.
EC875, Copenhagen Control, good afternoon. Information Delta is correct, clear to Gatwick, Lango 1 Charlie departure, squawk 4515.
Sam Richardson, hello to you.
Clear Lango 1 Charlie departure, squawk 4515, EKCH
7875, readback correct.
And departure, good evening, Easy 48 Delta Papa Type A320 Neo, requesting Alpha clearance file to Gatwick. Stand Foxtrot 4, and we have information Delta.
Easy 48 Delta Papa, Copenhagen Control, good evening as well. Information Delta is correct, clear to Gatwick, Lango 1 Charlie departure, squawk 1267.
Cleared Vadalango 1 Charlie departure, squawk 1267, Easy 48 Delta Papa.
Wings 5 Charlie Mike, no further ATC, Monty to come 122.8, goodbye.
122.8 and sorry for the mess before. Wings 5 Charlie Mike, bye bye.
No worries. Scandinavian 4691, identified passing flight level 366. Continue climb flight level 380.
Continue climb 380, Scandinavian 4691.
Just need to confirm my readback's correct. And Easy 48 Delta Papa, just confirm my readback. Lango 1 Charlie, squawk 1267.
East 48 Delta Papa, Lango 1 Charlie is correct, and so was the rest of your readback.
Thank you, 48 Delta Papa. Good, so that's all set.
And red nose 5 Charlie Juliet again.
And I'm just going to come off the frequency for the moment while we continue running the rest of our checks. We'll do some before start checklists in a moment, but let's just configure the aircraft and get that all sorted.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our EasyJet service. Please place your large bags into the open
That's annoying.
wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in front of you. These include laptops,
What on earth has happened there?
and loose items of clothing. Once you have safely stowed your cabin back, please take your seat. To help us ensure a prompt departure, we would kindly ask you to keep the aisle clear,
Oh,
enabling
no.
all remaining customers to board. Your seatbelt can now be fastened ready for departure.
How
This
is
is
that,
the no smoking service. Thank you for observing this policy.
What has First Officer George done? We've armed the scrub. We've not discharged it though. What on earth happened there? That's well, that's just knackered the aircraft, I believe. I can't fix that. How on earth has that happened? We're gonna have to restart. Can we push that back in? Oh, we can. Oh, thank God for that. Thanks, HD. Welcome. I knew you had to actually discharge the engine. That then renders the engine useless. But I thought that, yeah, I thought once we'd pulled out, we were now stuck. Technically, it's an engineer's job, but you should just be able to pop that back in. We did. How weird. Who did that? It wasn't me. Anyone had that happen to them before? There we go. All master cautions are done. System status is normal. That's okay. We'll just tell the passengers it was a drill. No, don't discharge the agent. That's expensive. How strange. Anyway, now looking at the overhead, it appears we're back to normal. Oh, wow. Okay. Welcome on board, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck this morning, let me welcome you on board this EasyJet aircraft as you settle in for what we hope is going to be a most enjoyable flight. The weather today doesn't look to be posing much of a problem, so we should have a nice smooth ride for you throughout the duration of the flight. And as the cabin crew continue making their last preparations, if you can please assist them by getting yourselves sat down, your seatbelts fastened, and make yourselves nice and comfortable. The ground crew have now finished loading the aircraft, and we're just about finished with all our pre-flight checks, so it won't be long until we are pushing back. If you could please give the cabin crew your full attention as they go through the safety briefing, we'd very much appreciate it. So on behalf of myself and the first officer, we'd like to say thank you for choosing EasyJet today, and we look forward to giving you a safe flight.
Right, let's run our before start checklist, shall we? So, cockpit preparation. I'm still chuckling about that. And HD lurking in the background. We knew you were there, HD. We just knew. Whether you'd said anything or not. We fly all our flights as though you're there. Even when you're at 38,000 feet somewhere in the real world. Anyway, before start checklist, cockpit preparation is completed. Signs are on. And auto. Adheres 3 nav green. We've got fuel quantity 5.5 tons. Balanced. FMGS is set. Altimeter 1013 and 20 feet. Let me get the ground crew into position. I need to have a nice flight tonight. A nice easy flight tonight would be great. I've got a cup of tea waiting for me in my flask, so once we're at cruise we can start to enjoy. That's going to be a rather abrupt turn, I'm guessing, from the ground crew there. We'll see how they handle that.
Cockpit to ground. This is ground. Stand by.
Actually, that's a good point. I forgot Cholty's in the chat. Cholty, you should have been straight in there. Can we just do that in the real world? If if we accidentally lift up the guarded switch and pull, you know. Sure, it's happened to someone by accident in the past. In the real world.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. We are cleared for start and push.
Ruben, we're using the self-loading cargo mod for that, for all the cabin announcements, etc. Right, we're going to go back to ATC and tell them we're ready to go.
Plads derunder og 100.013 også hold jer. Og jeg skal bare lige for at være sikker, det var 1.500 fod eller derunder.
Please release parking brake.
Ja, 1.500 fod eller derunder også hold jer. Og jeg skal bare Lima, dine intentioner var at lande, er det korrekt?
Please release
Correct.
parking brake.
And easy 48 Delta Papa stand, Foxtrot 4, we're ready for push and start.
Easy 48 Delta Papa, due traffic behind, stand by for push, I'll call you back.
Wilco 48 Delta Papa. I bet that's Dark Fury who got in front of me during my fire agent problem.
Join, eller flyv højrehånds medvind bane 7, eller bane 09 i Billund.
Please release parking brake.
Og jeg flyver højrehåndsindflyvning bane 09 ved Billund, Oscar Papa.
Captain B, no offense, but you've got to watch this to go to sleep. Hey, there is... I don't care what people are doing while they're watching this. If you're watching, that is great. Whether you're watching with a beer, whether you're flying along, whether you've got us on in the background just to drift off to. I could quite easily drift off to the window view.
EKCH requesting taxi.
EKCH taxi holding point runway 22 right via Whiskey Romeo Bravo, cross runway 12.
Taxi taxi to holding point 22 right via Whiskey Romeo Bravo. EKCH 5.
Scandinavia 185, descend flight level 70.
Descending flight level 70, Scandinavian 185.
So he's just given the company aircraft...
C48 Delta Papa, push and start approved, EKCH 10113. Just caution for the company A320 Neo taxiing on Whiskey behind.
Give way to the company taxiing behind and then clear to push and start. Easy 48 Delta Papa.
Copenhagen radar, hello.
So we're expecting Whiskey Romeo Bravo.
7893, currently at flight level 153 and inbound Alpha Lima.
7893, Copenhagen Control, good evening, identified climb flight level 400.
There we go. He's out of our way. So let's get ready to go. We've been given our clearance. Beacon lights on. High pressure is in the green. Set the transponder to standby.
Now 789 at 3.
And before start, checklist. Windows and doors are closed and armed. Beacon light is on. Phone is on silent. Hey guys, so hopefully I'm now back with you. We are going to have to pick a different departure route because, well, I just don't have time for the full hour-and-a-half flight, but let's create a new flight plan, shall we? I think Manchester's just a good shout, plus it's an airport I know well, so we don't need to concern ourselves too much with a huge heavy briefing because it's well, it's one we know. Let's go ahead and just set one up very quickly. Make things up here. Let's pop that in. Echo Golf Charlie Charlie. Still to London Gatwick, of course. And we'll... oh, goodness me, where's that? Let's go ahead and pop in an alternate. Let's go with our default 34 Alpha Mike. Departing 05 right, I don't think so. 05 left and 8 right. And I honestly can't recall though what the honestly can't recall what the departure routings are. Is Listo available to us, or is that just for jets? Let me see if we can find out, shall we? So if I just have a quick check and see. I don't know if Listo is just for smaller aircraft, which is why I'm checking it. Let me see. Via airways for leaving control airspace via Trent. What route did that have in there? Honolulu? No, I don't think so. Samba is usually the preferred routing, isn't it? Let's go with that. Pop that in. I've lost my chat window as well. Where's that gone? Oh, there we go. I'd lost the chat window in Streamlabs. Just brought that back though. There we are. So let's. I'm just going to go ahead and set this up. There we go. Down into Gatwick. What kind of arrival's that? Let's just generate that flight. The main thing is to get us back flying sooner rather than later. Chelty, you a pilot that did that and diverted on APU gen only. What? Pulled the rubber jungle out? Really? Let's go ahead, pre-file that flight on VATSIM, and done. There's our operational flight plan. And let's now go ahead and get the simulator started. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long. Didn't take too long to start, actually. RSA, yeah, list us for smaller aircraft. So we're going via Samba. Get the overhead banner working. You know, when you can sense there's a crash to desktop coming, I'm sure you've all had it. It just starts to stutter, and as I was panning around, it was really, really jerky. I thought, so it's gonna go here, and sure enough, of course, that is exactly what happened. Right, let me get the sim started. So that's now launching. Oh, HD, you meant Chalty meant that someone disconnected both ITGs. Why? Don't. So we're back with our lovely blue Windows screen. Let's see how we get on with our time for starting this up. Anyway, chat amongst yourselves. I had a lovely week away. It is nice to be back, though. There's no such thing as a relaxing holiday with 4 kids, is there? Doesn't matter how much how many beers you have, you still can't switch off until they finally go down into bed. I tell you what, we had fantastic weather as well, which was nice. A couple of days that I would say we should probably been wearing sunscreen and didn't. Looking at the weather app before we went, of course, just that, well, you know, probably no need for that. Christian has been a member for 50 months. Christian, so much. There's a guy pressing the fire push button. I swear I didn't press it. Not quite. No, honestly, not sure what happened. The only thing I can think of is it was something to do with the Pushback Helper app, which I had opened to call the ground trucks, and then I sent the GPU away, and almost as soon as that happened, that's when it that's when the fire alert came on, the master caution. So are the two related? I don't know. Maybe we'll try it again, setting up this flight, see what happens. As it's a shorter flight, we can do it semi properly. Dark Fury also celebrating 15 months of membership. Thank you so much. Nice to have you back. Need to sort out these crash to desktops. Don't let George press buttons. No. We do need to sort out the CTDs. Look, here we go. This is the safe mode. Let's go in normal mode, shall we? Dark, I reckon if you could sort out and find out what is the problem with everyone's crash to desktops in Microsoft Flight Simulator, you could potentially be rather well off. Christian, yeah, let's just say it was First Officer George. You have a dog and we should play this card absolutely whenever possible. At least I think my cup of tea is still warm. So what's everyone done in the last week whilst I've been away? missed all of the live streams in the community that we have. Dark Fury says, empty the standby cache. Do you mean the roll? Is that a fancy name for the rolling cache? Dark Fury. This looks like a strange display, doesn't it? Does anyone else do this? Just to check it is still loading, put the mouse cursor where the blue progress bar is, just to see if it's moving. Christian, you've been working. Thel2 Gamer, you've been watching Concord and the PMDG 737 streams. Yes, of course. The streamers are on with the 737 at the moment, aren't they, from PMDG? I haven't watched any of those while I've been away, but obviously seen quite a few of them. Chalty rebuilding the PC. Did it need rebuilding? Captain 79, you've also been working. HD used to do that with dial-up. Oh, do you remember the noise it used to make? And when someone downstairs picked up the phone to you know, make an actual phone call. Is that blue line moving? Is it just me? This may end up turning into a chat stream. Just a good catch-up after the last week. Oh, Chalter, the motherboard died. Oh, no, that's not good, is it? HD, you're right. Millennials will never have the nostalgia. Christian says, download RAM Map, a little app, and clear your standby cache to give your system more free available memory. Interesting idea. Dark Fury, the standby cache is to do with the memory allocation, not rolling cache, but clearing that can help too. Well, we've seen that before. The next sim update is out on Tuesday as well, isn't it? Yeah. So I wonder what they're going to have fixed. Bravo 632, only a black screen. Yeah, crash their desktops. Oh, Harry, you're quite right. I've just realised you can't actually see the blue line slowly progressing. It is now progressing. It's just started moving again, but quite slow. Captain 79, is the Phoenix A320 still in development? It absolutely is, yes. I can guarantee that. Come on, blue line. Wonder if we've got ATC at Manchester. Egg Andy, did I have a good time away? I did have a good time away, yes. Yes, I did, thank you so much. Oh, I just heard some of the Flight Simulator music cut in then. Interesting. Do you know what? If we can't do a full flight this evening, what we might do, I'm just keeping an eye on the time. I kind of wanted to be finished sort of by 10ish. I'm not sure, you know, if we're going to be able to do that. But what we could do is we could go somewhere and maybe do some base training, couldn't we? I have to remember how on earth we do that. There's actually quite a lot to remember. We could do some base training flying somewhere, couldn't we? Which could be interesting. What do we reckon? Should we try and get a flight in, or should we do some circuit training? Some base training. We could just pretend we are actually in a flight simulator and do things that we should probably practice. We could turn it into a what's gone wrong stream. We could just get HD to throw scenarios at us, set them up in the sim, and see how long it takes before we crash. Egg Andy, you've noticed the music doing that again with you. Occasionally it just plays a tiny snip of the music. And then it's silent. Yeah, a couple of times I've seen that happen. Captain 79 says base train. HD says do the Mac loop. Dr. Magic's voting for the flight. Dark Fury says HD should just set scenarios up. Chalty, you went down to Waddington, they're repainting the Vulcan. HD, the LGCIU2 fault. I did see a snippet of a conversation on the Discord server regarding that. Manning Man says do a flight but at Mach 0.82. Push that cost index up. I think given the length of time this is loading, a full flight is looking less and less likely, I'm afraid, guys. Dark Fury, a dual engine failure at 2,000 feet. And let me guess, you want to do this in New York, leaving LaGuardia? HD, the reason we don't give guys that fault in the simulator is because it takes 3 hours to work through it. Infinity Airlines VA, hello, how are you? I was much better before the crash to the desktop. Typical. I've just heard some beeping. What the heck was that? Dark Fury, do it over the Thames instead. Oh, the British version. I see. Oh, and we're back. Okay, guys, what should we do? Should we do some base training, or should we just throw a few different scenarios out? So, HD, dual engine failure in cruise. See where you can get into. Start over the middle of the UK. Ooh, that sounds scary. Are we game for that? Christian, after takeoff, activate the approach phase and skyrocket a green dot. Turn off the seatbelt signs and watch for the passenger reactions. Chalty says reenact the Sully's flight. I can't. It's or the Corfu circling arrival. What even is that? Let me see. Hang on. Oh, what's the ICO code for Corfu? Can I search for that? Let's have a look. That's not it. Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't know these codes off by heart, of course. LGKR. Could have probably guessed that. So what's the normal approach you do? And then what is it? It's the normal approach runway 34 circling 16. So you'd normally presumably do the RNAV. And then circle on 16. Lander Lake's been a member for 8 months, says do Dark Fury and HD's scenarios. Right, in order to do that though, with the fly-by-wire, what we'd have to do is I would have to start somewhere, just freeze the aircraft and set it up, which may take me a moment or so. So we'd want to come in here, wouldn't we, at bed X. Alright, let's see if we can do that. Coming via the west and VOR A and B. Runway unspecified. Why would you use the VOR and not the RNAV to come in and do it? Is that because of the terrain here to the left? So if we ignore the 34 arrival, so if we came in on the VOR Alpha, what would be the plan then? Let's talk us through that. So we'd come in at VMAT, fly then to the Goritza VOR, and then from there, do you know what? Where on earth do you go from there? Where would you actually leave from there? Would you literally fly a visual approach around over to the west? Hey Danny, good to see you, mate. It's been a while. Let me get rid of that text so you guys can see that. So would you leave the almost fly the missed approach procedure? HD says that's a good question. It's one I hope you know the answer to if we're going to attempt this. So from VMAT into the VOR and then circling minimums. A circle to land are not authorised west of the airport, so we have to do it east. And minimums are 1,900 feet. So we'd have to do it to the east. So what would that be? Hang on a minute. If you have to do it to the east and you're flying over the VOR, how the heck do you keep that airport in sight? It's going to be behind you. And set a cloud base of 2,100 feet. This is getting better and better. Alright. Let me go ahead and actually get us into the sim. Is that the right code? LGKR? Yeah, LGKR. Where is it? Right, so if we're going to do this, I'm not doing it at night. If we're going to do this, we can obviously use slew mode to get ourselves closer and things like that. Let's set ourselves up somewhere over here. Click pilot, yeah, there was a crash to desktop earlier, sadly, so we're setting ourselves up with a little bit of a scenario here. So let's just hit fly. I'll sort the weather out once we're in the sim. Hey, do I need to fly all the way to the VOR? No, not if I can see the airport. If I can see the airport, then no, I don't. So can we break off, I don't know, maybe 10 miles out? And as long as we can see the airport, come in and fly visually in and around? HT says, oh, at night is far more fun when we usually do it. Okay, so we're going with a 2,100 feet cloud base, 6 miles visibility, and night time. Okay, for those of you that have recently just joined us, we've had to abandon the flight into Gatwick due to crash the desktops. Time constraints meant we couldn't continue with that flight, so we're now playing out a scenario here in the sim that has been set as a bit of a challenge by HD. We're going to make a circling approach into Corfu, runway, is it 14? At night in not not the best weather. Right, let's get... Oh, look at this weather. This weather's beautiful. And that's true. If the visibility is only 6 kilometers, we're going to have to get closer. Okay. There's going to be all sorts of alarms going off in a minute. Right. I'm just going to toggle the pause there. And we just need to go through, set a few things. So I'm just going to level that off. I'm just going to put a speed in there, 250, until we've actually set everything. Why's landing gear down? Let's get that up. Both engines are running. Right, we're going to do this. Good God, what is that noise? Right, we're not going to do the init request. To LGKR. We'll just put a random flight number in there. Cost index 8. Cruise level of 100. Why is that not working? Oh, that's annoying. Right, so if I actually go to the approach pages for this, let's see what's available, shall we? So we wanted the VOR Alpha. We've got loads of time to set this up, so we don't need to rush it. Do we have any VIAs for this approach? It's via VMAT, isn't it? Insert that. I'm going to pop direct VMAT in there, so that's straight away showing. And oh, that's all right. Look, we're 8.5 miles away, so that wasn't a bad guess, was it? We're obviously facing the wrong direction at the minute, but I can sort that out in a second. So turning point to VMAT, that's set up. Right, I'm also going to, given how close we are, let's activate that approach phase, so that's done. So we can say that's done. QNH is going to be 1013 because we're going to use manual weather. Temperature, I've got no idea what the temperature would be when setting manual weather. I don't even know if you can set the temperature at for manual weather. So let's just go ahead and put in ISA conditions. HD, fly west first if we need to give ourselves some more track miles. Very, very probably. Transition altitude here is 5,000 feet. The minimums, remember, were 1,900. If I miss anything, guys, shout out while setting this up on me. Right, the wind I'm going to set to 180 at 20. And we've got just over 3 tons of fuel. That'll be plenty for this. Right. Let's now go ahead and see if we can muck around with the weather. Then we'll go through and set that up as well. So take live weather off. What did we say we're setting that cloud base at? Cloud base 2,100 feet. Can we enter those numbers Why won't it let me... Oh, there we go. Right, and let's increase the cloud coverage. Now, I'm not particularly sure how we can set a visibility just here. Hey, Christian says turn on the snow, because why not? Yeah, I'm not sure how we can actually set visibility. So that's all set. Temperature, we can leave that. Pressure, leave that. Humidity, I'm not sure if that's going to make a difference too much. So Christian says you can't sadly set the visibility. That's a shame. I could maybe add a bit of precipitation. That might affect it, not a lot. Let's add a tiny bit. There we go. Alright. So I think let's just have a look at the winds then. So that wind layer at ground level. Oops, I've grabbed the wind there. It's not particularly intuitive, this box, is it? Right, so that wind, what did we say we were setting the wind at? It would be 180 at 20, right? So the wind... Oh, I can actually type that in. 180 at... Why is it in kilometers an hour? Anyone know the conversion? Because I don't. In fact, I don't want gusts. Forget that. We'll just put it in ever so slightly. There, how's that? Right, so that's wind popped in. I'm not quite sure how far that extends up though. Because that's at ground level, isn't it? If you wanted to add another wind layer, can you actually... You can, but can you make that any bigger? Well, it's just duplicated it anyway, so I think that's fine. Alright, so we've got the weather, I think, set up probably as best we can for the scenario. That's fine. Oh no, don't touch that. Right, close that down. So we're just at the top of the cloud layer. Right, what else do we need to set up? And then we need to actually work out how to fly this approach. So that's all done. Flight plan's done. Let's have a look. So how are we going to do this? We can't circle to the west of the airport. We've got terrain. So, if we're going to try and keep the airfield in sight at all times, where are we not allowed to fly? We've got high terrain up to 3,300, around 10 miles north-northwest of the airport. So that's over here somewhere, isn't it? Right, fixes page. Let's put anything we can on here to help us out. Bum bum bum. Of course, you would have a full 3 hours cruise to be able to set this up, wouldn't you? How you want to do it. So right, let's pop in. Let me just start the McDo server, and hopefully it'll make setting this up a little bit easier. So for anyone who's joining us, we are The flight we planned this evening didn't work, crashed the desktop, so we've set ourselves up with a sort of tricky scenario. Let me get that McDo working. Hopefully that will come in. Christian, you can add a fog layer. How do you do that? Right, that's working. Turn that off. That's another drain on resources as well, apparently. Right. Golf Alpha Romeo. HD's gone very quiet now. I bet he's taken the dog out. Okay, so I want to put a 10-mile radius around that. And the constraints that are on here, let's see what we've got. 4,000 feet at VMAT, and then down to 1,900, which is minimums at the VOR. Okay, so the actual coding here is all correct as well. Air Gandhi, oh thank you so much Air Gandhi for your very, very kind £10 super chat donation there, saying glad to have us back streaming even with a crash to desktop. Am I doing the I-95 stream tomorrow? Yes, we should be back with the I-95 tomorrow, so Air Gandhi, thank you very much, really, really kind of you. Okay, I'm also going to, once I've set this up, I'm also going to put it onto night time as well. Another one of the conditions that HD setters. Right. So this is really interesting. You guys apparently discussed this all whilst I was away on how you'd fly this. I need to bring up the Discord, don't I? Right. So after Fox Echo 77. Why does that then go south of Golf Alpha Romeo? It shouldn't, of course. So how on earth can we do this safely? We can't circle to land to the west. That is forbidden. Do you know what? I think I might be stuck. If we fly over the airfield, we lose sight of it. That's no good. If you're making a circling approach, you have to keep the airfield in sight at all times. The only way you could potentially do it, and well, I've got terrain here, which isn't great, is perhaps just break off slightly. But would you really want to fly between the two? The airport and the terrain just here? Or would you break off flying northeast, thereby if you're in the first officer's seat they'll be able to see the airport, and then you can come circle to land, but then as you do that you would lose sight of the airport again over here. The only way you could keep the airport in full view all the way around would be to break off at this point and fly over, around and come into land this way. Okay. Other things that we need to pop on there. I need to put in the I want to put in runway centerline and a 90-degree angle to that on the fixes page. So that's going to be, what's the name of the airport? It's Lima Golf Kilo Romeo, and it is runway 14. Is it runway 14? It is, isn't it? No? Have I got the wrong runway? Oh, sorry, 16. That makes more sense. Um, 345 radial. So that's the runway centre line. There it is. And I want to have a I want to have the beam threshold shown as well. So that's going to be 165 minus 90, which is 075. I've just realised my chat window stopped. So I've now just refreshed it and I can see all you guys talking. Let me just come through this again. So let me go through now. I've just seen the chat window. Don't know why that stopped working. Lots of things going wrong tonight. So we're going to take the gusts off. That's fine. That's fine. They're gone. So HC says the biggest question here is how will you position yourself onto the downwind leg once we are visual? A very good question. And that's currently what I'm struggling with at the moment. So what was that elevation of the oh, they're no good. What was the elevation of the terrain? That elevation of the terrain was 2,010 feet. That's the highest point. You have to keep that mast in sight though, which is just here. Yeah, we don't want to miss that, fly into it. So if we've got the mast in sight on our right and the airport in sight on our left, can we at that point then start the circle to land procedure this way around? I think that's how we're going to do it. Alright, and what's the minimums? 1,900. Keeping that in sight at all times so we obviously don't fly into it. Right, I think we've got enough track miles to start sorting that out anyway at the moment. So we're going to get down to, well, I'm going to leave it in managed mode. And I'm just going to quickly fine tune those constraints so it works nicely. 4,000 to 8 and then 19. That's fine. And what's the airfield elevation? Airfield elevation is... oh, okay. So for the time of our downwind then we can use, is it 57? What is it? We're 1,900 feet. So that's 19 by 3, which is 57 seconds. Okay. 57 seconds. And we're all going to be stabilised as well for this. So that means that as we get down to minimums at this point, then we want to have landing gear down, flaps 3, flying at F speed for the procedure. Oh, the wind. What way is the wind coming in? What did we set it to? Was it 180 at 20? 180 at 20. Oh, right, okay. Minus, take 20 off that. So that's 37 seconds. Alright. Let's try it. I'm just going to pull heading, and we'll just spin ourselves around and start to organise ourselves. Let's get ourselves headed round this way, and then we'll just come back. It may have a bit of a bump as we take the slew off, the pause off. Landing lights are on. Okay. So we're just turning away from our turning point at the moment. We've got plenty of time, and I've got 25 track miles to run. So we should have plenty of time with regards to that. What on earth is going on with the speed? I don't know if that's just an issue with us being in active pause for so long. Okay, let's put the aircraft into nav. Let's get ourselves down to, I'm going to set 1,900 feet now and leave it in managed. There we go. Thrust idle, descent, 4,000 magenta. And we're in nav mode, headed to VMAT. 250 knots. Selected speed. Will we have enough fuel for this HD? Do we need some more? Look at that weather down there. Look at the waves. What are you doing? Christian, they may have fixed the rat because that's now well, it's not. It's showing us not in. Okay, we're down at 4,000 feet. Alt constraint. Nice and early. Hi, Wayne. This is a kind of approach where a two-man crew, I'm guessing, would be absolutely essential, because as your captain sat in this seat, he's going to have the airport there on his left. That mast that we spoke of is going to be over there on the right. Have we got some wind set which is playing havoc with the 180 gusting? That's turned off. That's turned off. Oh, that is actually a lot stronger than normal. Oh, it's in kilometers, isn't it? I need to drop that a bit. Right, just drop that. Do the same for this layer here. There we go. Are the winds adding together? Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of that top layer. Delete that. That should help. Oh yeah, there we go. Right, let's start slowing down as well. So, get it down to green dot. Oh, one final challenge. There we go. So, this is how HD does it. This is awful. Right. So, getting ourselves down to green dot now. We've got a few extra track miles because of the way the fly-by-wire flies it. It's not going direct to VMAT. It's now focusing back on this track line. HD asks, how would I see the mast? Would it? I'm presuming it's got lights on. Go on then. I'm quite happy to do it at dusk. Let's put a little bit of light in there. There we go. That's even more eerie. At least if it's dark I can't see what I'm about to crash into. Okay, we're now back on course to VMAT, 3.5 miles away. Do you reckon the mast's got a light on it? I bet if there's custom scenery around it would do. Right, flaps 1. Speed's checked. Flaps 1. Gonna leave that at 180 knots. And then we're getting down to 2,800 feet, aren't we? By here. Interesting, this line here. I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if HD can throw some light on that. It's coded to go direct to the VOR, but thrust idle descent. Flaps 2, speed checked. Flaps 2. Pull track before we get there due to the navigation bug. Yep, that's fine. What did I set that cloud layer as? Okay, so a couple of miles away from the next waypoint. Let's get ourselves stabilized. So gear down. Manage speed and flaps 3. Then we should be going down to 1,900 feet at the moment. Once we pass that next waypoint. So we need to become visual with the airfield. Is this going to start its descent? Excellent. Thrust idle. Descent now. 190 blue. In the sim, do they have relaxing chill out music as well, just to keep the nerves? Why are we on FPA? Thrust idle, open descent. Come on, get down. That's it. 8 miles away.
2,500.
Radio altimeter's alive. Tell you what, I wish the terrain radar was working. Speed alt start 1900. Very quickly.
Minimum. Minimum.
So we're now at the minimums.
Minimum.
Okay, I think we're clear of the land. But still cannot see the... still can't see the airfield. Too much cloud and poor visibility. Yeah.
Minimum.
I'm just going to hit the pause and I'm going to see if we can just increase that a little bit. So if we just remove precipitation, a little bit, that should help with the visibility. There we go. There we go. Now I can see the terrain.
Minimum.
And is that our airport down here? I'm looking for runway lights, which I can't actually see.
Minimum.
However, our airport is indeed just there.
Minimum.
So let's now select a sensible track away from that. There's our terrain, just here. There's the airport.
Minimum.
We can afford to just come right a little bit more. Obviously not hand flying this, I'm using as much automation as I can while I concentrate on looking out the window. There it is. Where's the lights? Why is it so blooming dark?
Minimum. Minimum.
Had I known, of course, I've got custom scenery for this. Oh look, they've turned the lights on.
Minimum.
Still keeping clear of the terrain over there. Okay. Can we now come about?
Minimum.
Come about. Isn't that a nautical expression? So I set the downwind leg, which is 345. Still on autopilot, of course, for the minute.
Minimum.
How annoying does that get in the real world? Minimum, minimum.
Minimum.
Okay, so once we're abeam, we're going to time 37 seconds. We are a bit close, you are right. Let me just add a few degrees to that, just bank us away from that. Now we're abeam. Let me start the timer. Screens are turned up a little bit too bright, can't quite see. There we go. So we're about to disconnect in a second. Right, 37. Let's start the turn back towards. .25 degrees. Don't want to descend too much. There it is. Okay, flaps full. Then run that landing checklist, which would be cabin auto thrust, go around altitude, which I've not set because we've not got. Now visual. Getting those pappies back in as we look to come and line up with our centre line.
1000.
There we go. Pappies look good. Flight directors, of course, should be off. Doesn't the pilot monitoring take care of that? Just need to get her on that centre line now. Continue.
$300. 200. 100.
Ignore the pappies.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 10, 5.
Ouch! You can all diagnose what I did there, because I know what I did. I lifted up, thought we were floating, and then at the last minute thought, no we're not, we shouldn't have lifted up, so put her down. A little bit harder than we should have. Well, that was different. Beauty. A flyby might change the sounds. What was that landing rate? I daren't ask. We should have done base training. Right, I'm going to let someone else taxi her in now. I'm just going to put the parking brakes on. There. Oh, do you know what? It wasn't a hard landing because there's nothing printing. I'm good to go. Well, a very different stream from what we had planned, guys. We obviously planned to go from Copenhagen to London Gatwick. Sadly, we had to crash the desktop just when pushing back from the gate at Copenhagen. No idea. No idea why. Heavy airport, flight Tampers, Copenhagen. Beautiful scenery. Once again, it was a nighttime crash. It always seems to be at nighttime. And I do think nighttime is harder on the hardware of a PC than daytime. So instead, HD set as a challenge the circle to land approach, coming in here at Corfu in low visibility, just above the minimums as well, and at night time, which also adds to it because you've got a false perception as well coming in. So definitely different. So lots of things to think about as well. Thank you to the guys recently just subscribing. Hopefully next time you see us on a live stream, we will be doing a full proper flight without any of the crash to desktop issues. So we'll hopefully catch everybody else next time out. Tomorrow we should be back on the I-95 as well. For those of you who want to fly along on the North Europe server, I can't actually recall where we landed last time, so I'm gonna have to find that out before we start tomorrow. But a big thank you to all of you for sticking around, particularly during the crash to desktop where we had to get everything restarted. Thanks to HD for his wonderful scenario setting. Not as straightforward as it first looks, Corfu. No, indeed. Terry, an eventful stream. Indeed, it was something different. Christian, or just use the that's sitting in a box. Christian, not sure if you can hear that. I've got it in my hands, mate. I've got it in my hands. We'll get it sorted. Fingers crossed that will help. Hope you guys continue to have a great weekend. Egg Andy, thank you so much, Egg Andy, for your £5 donation as we exit. Really appreciate the support you guys have shown. First stream back, which obviously didn't go to plan, but hopefully it was entertaining nevertheless. And yeah, we'll be back with some more Real Ops flights next week, and hopefully the I-95 for an hour tomorrow evening. So be sure to tune in to that. Thanks very much, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Speak to you all soon. Bye bye.